that the U.S. could do in order to convince Kim Jong-un to stop what he supposedly has been doing?
Well, I think a real cyber counterattack would have some benefit, or targeting the electrical system in Pyongyang. You know, we used non-lethal means against Serbia in the late 1990s, just dropping carbon fiber filaments on transformers that disable them temporarily, things that would have a real cost beyond just the minor black eye for the hundreds of millions potentially of damage it's done to our economy.
But don't you think, Christian, if the U.S. were to engage in that kind of direct cyber warfare with North Korea, the U.S. has a lot more to lose in this kind of war than the North Koreans do, given the technological advances and the dependency on the technology here in the United States?
That's right. In that sense, we do. But I think at some point you have to push back. There has to be a consequence. It's not just North Korea who's watching this. It's Vladimir Putin. It's the Chinese. It's the Iranians. And if you can get away with the cyber attack on America that not only has a financial cost, but also puts the chill on the First Amendment in Hollywood, for example, there just has to be some sort of consequence. We've talked so long. More sanctions on North Korea aren't going to make a difference. We should put it back on the terrorist list, but it was before, and the regime did just fine.
Bob, when you heard today the internet in North Korea was down, what was your immediate reaction? Who did you think was responsible for that?
Well, the timing, Wolf, suggests it was the United States. I can't confirm that, of course, but it would be a warning, a shot across their bow, North Korea. But I think at the end of the day, even if we did bring it down, it's not enough. My solution always on North Korea, and has always been this way, is deal through the Chinese. We've got to take this to Beijing and say, look, we cannot have a rogue state in your backyard. You can truly enforce the embargo. We cannot predict what Kim Jong-un was going to do, but you might, and I would put it in their court, because really they are the ones that can do something about North Korea.
You know, Christian, I just want to get back to you for a second. The official White House statement from the National Security Council was sort of nebulous. They didn't reject it. They didn't confirm it. They just said they're not going to respond. They didn't deny it, though specifically they said they don't know anything about it, not enough to discuss it, whatever. They had a nebulous statement. What do you think?
I put my money on that we are not responsible for this. I wish we were, in a way, but I just think you wouldn't see the messaging coming out of the State Department. If you're undertaking an attack on a country, whether cyber or not, you're not at the same point going to call them out to fess up to what they've done before. I think you'd change your language to hawkish. Also, the Pentagon making noises, the usual noises about an interagency operation. The fact that the FBI is still in charge of this, there's been no mention of U.S. Cyber Command that would probably actually execute an attack, leads me to believe that this might actually be North Korea seeking preemptively to defend its internet and its electronic systems against us, rather than them being the target of the U.S. attack themselves.
You used to work at the FBI, Tom.